Amen. We can handle it without making a scene and making ourselves look ridiculous. But we are lacking in courage because what's somebody going to say? What's somebody going to accuse me of? Well, we're seeing the results of a lack of courage over the last several decades right now with what you see on television, with what we're dealing with in our Christian faith as far as the hostility and opposition to it and disrespect. Amen. We're seeing the results of what it's like to look the other way. We're living in it right now. And that stone was his chief cornerstone. That stone that killed Goliath, that was hurled from that sling. That stone found its foundation. I want you to get this. We're talking about a foundation. This is how God works. Goliath was there to stop David. The enemy, the devil, raised Goliath up to stop David. That giant Goliath was there to defeat the nation of Israel. That giant Goliath was there to mock God and to show that his God was more powerful. But you know what? This is how awesome God is. He took Goliath and he let his forehead become the foundation for the chief cornerstone. Get this. The chief cornerstone, symbolic with that stone that David flung out of his little sling. Goliath's head become the foundation for that chief cornerstone to be planted. Amen. God took the greatest opposition and made him the foundation for the chief cornerstone to be set in. And what was that chief cornerstone? That chief cornerstone is Jesus Christ. That chief cornerstone is the stone that you and I have available to us. That chief cornerstone that David had that brought down his Goliath is the same chief cornerstone that can bring yours and my giant down. Amen. And the giant that's in opposition against the church. The giant that's in opposition against this church. The chief cornerstone, Jesus Christ. He's the one. He was the one that made sure that stone, as it was flung through the air, went right to the perfect place that it had to be embedded into. It says there, when we read that from Samuel, that the stone actually sunk or was embedded into the head of Goliath. Amen. So God took the greatest opposition against Israel and made it, that being Goliath, a place for the chief cornerstone to find its foundation. And the foundation from that cornerstone is still in place. Amen? Amen? Still in place. Still secure. Still safe. Been tried. Been tested. It's still precious as it's ever been. But when I got to the, never thought of it that way. Isn't that the way God likes to work? He likes to take our opposition. He likes to take our impossibilities. And for those, what is it, Romans 8:28, for those that believe in God, for those that call him by name, that he'll take something good, and I'm paraphrasing it, or take something bad. He'll take something bad that we're going through, and he'll change it into something good.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And so let's make sure that we know who the chief cornerstone is, and that we have him spiritually speaking. We know that he's there. We know that he's readily available. And we know that he has in our past, with trials, with things we went through, prepared us. And if we're going through something now, still part of the process. Still refining us, still making us into a champion so that we can take his stone, his chief cornerstone, Jesus Christ, and and use it as a mighty weapon in this spiritual warfare, this spiritual battle that we're in. And we're living in a time where we really need to make sure we have that chief cornerstone in our life. And we understand what he's there for, who he's there for, and that he wants to help us. Amen?
Amen.
All right. Amen. Okay, let's stand. We'll get ready.